In this video, I will show you step by step how to build a product catalog app for your business or for a business that you're providing services for. This is great if you want a platform where you can easily keep your product information up to date and make it very quick for your customers to find what they're looking for. The best part is that I will be building it with no code using a platform called GlideApps.com. So this is perfect for anyone who doesn't have any technical experience. Also, please note that even though I will be, in this example, I will be building a catalog with physical products, this can be adjusted to showcase any product that you may be selling or even services. So with that said, let's jump straight into it. So the first step is to navigate to GlideApps.com. I'll put a link to it in the description below so you can easily find it. Then go ahead and log in, and you can log in with your Google account. So go ahead, create an account. It's free to get started, and then I will see you on the inside. All right, so here I am in GlideApps, the GlideApps dashboard. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a new app. And here I get the option to either build a basic app or generate an app with AI. For this example, I'm going to go with a basic app. And the first thing I always like to set up is my data, right? My data source. So in Glide, you have like 4 different tabs here: data, layout, workflows, and settings. So data is essentially the data that will power your app. This is where all the databases are located. Then we have the layout, which is essentially the interface of the app, what the app will look like, and the elements that will present it to the user, or in other words, how the user will interact with the app. And then workflows are ways in which you can build automations. So when, let's say, a user performs an action in the app, you can have a workflow that triggers other actions in the backend. And then settings is just some like settings for the app. So I'm going to start off with the data. So in the data, this is where I'm going to define my database. And since this is a product catalog app, I want to have a database where I'm going to be storing all the products that I want to present to the user. So by default here, we have items, categories, and users. And I think that's a pretty good starting point. You know, I want to follow the same structure. Like I want to have a database with items and then another database with categories, so I can split up the products into categories. So I'm actually going to stick to this. But what I want to note here is that what you see here, these are internal Glide databases, right? So these are built within Glide. What you can also do, if you want, you can bring in data from other sources. So you can bring data from Google Sheets if you want, Airtable, Excel, and other data sources that are available here, such as SQL databases. For this example, I'm just going to stick to Glide, right? So my databases will be managed to Glide, but just keep in mind that this is also like another option. Like you can link, for example, if you have a Google Sheet where you're currently storing all your product data, you can build an app from that Google Sheet, from that spreadsheet. You don't even need to set up databases, right? So just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna rename this to products, and I'm gonna keep the categories table as it is. And then for each product, I want to store the name, the description, an image, and then a category. So this is already perfect. Like I don't even need to do anything here other than populate the database with the product information that I have, which I don't actually, because this is a demo app. So I'm going to use ChatGPT to come up with some product data. I'm going to pause the video and come back once I have something. All right, so I'm back. I went ahead and generated some sample products using ChatGPT, and then I found an image on Google for each one of them. Each product belongs to a category, right? So you can see the categories here. And also what I want to do, while populating this list, I remembered that this is important, is create variants, right? So some products will have different versions. So for example, a t-shirt will have different sizes or maybe different colors. So I want to create variants. Now, what I could do is create a record here for each variant. So I could do like classic cotton t-shirt, small, classic cotton t-shirt, medium, classic cotton t-shirt, large, and so on. But thinking ahead of how I want to display this data in the app, I think it would be better if I create another database, which I'm gonna call product, or like I'll call it variants, like that. So I'll have the name of the variant, and then here I have the product name, right? And what I want to do is I'm going to go back to products, and I'm going to create a new column here called variant. And this will be of type relation. And the relation will be based on the... So what I want to do here is say that the name column needs to match the value of the product name column on the variants table. And if so, then this product will be related to that variant. It will make sense once I create an example here. So if we go, let's say, to this t-shirt, I'm going to copy the name of this product. I'm going to paste it right here. And then I'm going to say something like small, okay? Then I'm going to create another record, again, same product name, and I'm going to call it medium. And then I'm going to create another one, call it large, and then another one called extra large. Again, same product name. So now if I go back to products, you can see here, let me see, edit. I need to select match multiple. You can see that it automatically related my classic cotton t-shirt record to multiple records on the variants database, right? So this is what I want to do here. And I'm going to do the same for denim jeans. So I'm going to go, I'm going to copy the name of the product. I'm going to go here. I'm going to create 4 records for this product. And then I'm going to copy the same names for this product as well. If I go back, you can see automatically the relations have been created. And we can do the same. Let's do the same with the hoodie. This time, though, I'm going to do, let's say, white. Let's do 4 here as well. White, black, gray, and green. Now, I could also add like images. You know, if each variant has a different image, I could add it here and so on. You get the idea. So yeah, I wanted to add that as well. So this is my data set, right? So the data set is now ready. I could keep adding more columns. If I think of more data points that I need to have as I'm building the app, then I'll come back and update the database. But I'm good to now move on to the layout. So I'm now going to move on to the layout page where I'm going to construct the visual elements of the app. So this is the page where I define how how the app will look like and how the user will interact with it. So when building layouts, there is a few basic concepts. The first concept is pages, right? So an app can have one or multiple pages. So you can see here that my app currently only has one page called categories. I can go ahead and create another page, let's say custom screen here, where I can display other data. I could display, let's say, the profile of the user, or maybe, I don't know, something else. You know, maybe on one page I display the categories, and then on another page I display all the products, like a list of all the products, right? So these are screens. These are the app pages. For now, I just want one. And then the second concept is source. So each page needs to have a source of data, right? Or in other words, it needs to have a database. It needs to be linked to a database, because on a page we need to display data. And a page can only have one source. As you can see here, this page is currently linked to the categories source, or in other words, the categories database. And then on a page, we also have components. So components define how the data is presented. So here on the side, you can see we have components, and I'm going to remove this. And if I go on this plus icon here, this opens up a menu with all the components that are available. So these are the display elements that I can build my app with. Now, when it comes to components, there's different types of components. So we have titles, right? We can display, for example, this would be great if we had like a user profile page and we wanted to display the name of the user and their email, let's say. We would use that. Or, I could just have this and just add like a static piece of text like, welcome to our product catalog, right? I could do something like that if I want. And then add something else like browse our products below, not a good title, but whatever, like you get the idea. It's just in this case, it's just a static piece of text. Then we have these other types of components called collections. So collections display a list of data, right? And this is actually what I want to use in our case, because the way I envision this app to work is the first thing I give the user on the homepage is a list of categories, the categories of the products that I have. And actually, I just remembered that I forgot to set up the categories page here. Anyway, so essentially what I want to do is I want to display all the categories of the apps, all the categories of the products, and then I want to allow the user to click on those categories and then display the products that are under those categories, right? That's how I envision the app to function. So what I need to do is use a collection element here in order to display all the categories. And there's different styles. So I can have like these cards. I can have a list. So if there are a lot of items and I want to display a lot of them on one page, I can use a list. I can use a table, a data grid, a checklist if I'm building like a to-do list app or something. There's different collections. Then we have layouts. So this is ways in which I can, position elements, like split the app screen into columns, so I can position elements in different ways. Those are layouts. There's text. So if I want to display text on the page, I can use these elements, or other content such as images, videos, audio, numbers, etc. Then we have action components. So if I want the user to be able to interact with the app and take actions, then I would use an action component. A form, if I want the user to submit data to the app, I can use that. These are form elements. So these are the fields on the actual form that I'm building. And then there's also some advanced components such as a scanner for QR codes and stuff like that, a signature field, a stopwatch, and so on. So for this example, what I'll do is, as I said, I want to display a list of categories. So I'm going to use a collection. And my favorite one is card, because on a card, I can display both an image as well as some text. Now, as I said, I forgot to set up my categories database. So I'm going to go back here. And this will be very similar to how I set up the variance database. So what I want to do here is I want to create a record for each category of products that I have. So electronics, furniture, outdoor, clothing, to home and kitchen, lighting, wearables, computers, home decor, and fitness. Okay. And now, let me remove this. I don't need this count here. Related items. I'm actually gonna, I'm not sure how this is set up, so I'm gonna delete it and create it again. So what I want to do is, what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll create a new relation column called products. So the same way that I created a relation to the categories database on the products database, I'm going to do the same thing on the categories database. So it will be like a two-way relation. Like the categories will be related to products and the products will be related to the categories. So the name will be products computed relation. And I'm going to say that the name of the category needs to match the product, the value of the product category column. And then I'm going to say match multiple because there's multiple products related to the same category. And as you can see now, I get relations to all the products that have each of these categories. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want a column called featured image column. Featured product image. And I want the type of this to be computed single value. And I want to get a random element, like a random product from this list here. I mean, you can choose. You might want to get the first one or the last one. I want to do a random one, which means every time the app loads, the featured product image will change, right? And I think that's an interesting, that's a nice touch because I don't want my feature product to always be the same. I want to randomize it. So I will get the random one from the relation column, right? So this is the relation column called products. And I want to get the image, right? So a random image from these related products right here. And now I will be able to use that on my categories card as the featured image. And if I reload the page here, you'll see that they'll change. Categories, you see, they have been recalculated. So going back to layout now, I'm going to set up the way that these cards look. So I'm going to go to my component here. And under items data, this is where I define what data from my source, so the categories database, will be populated to each one of these fields. So my cards have 4 data elements that I can populate. A title, so I'm actually going to make this static just so you can see. So title, a description, a meta field, which is like a little text above the title, and then an image. But I don't want to do this statically. I want to do it dynamically. So for the title, I'm going to click here and I'm going to bring the name of the category. That's what I want the title to be. For description, I'm going to leave that empty. Meta, I'm going to leave that empty. And then for image, I'm going to set that dynamically as the value of the featured product image. There we go. And then I can mess around a little bit with the design. So the style, I want it to be a card, not minimal, a card. I want it to be medium is fine. I want the image style to be square. I want the image fill to be fit, right? So I want to be able to see the entire image. Let me actually go back to minimal. No, prefer card. Orientation. Vertical, title style, simple, bold, doesn't make a difference. Aspect ratio, so do I want it to be square? Do I want it to be like a rectangle? Actually, I think square looks nicer, so I'm gonna use square. And then I can also limit. So if I have many categories and I want to limit how many I display on the page, then I can limit here. I can also have multiple pages. So here I define like the maximum number of items per page. But yeah, this is what I wanted to look like. And I'm also going to give the page a title. So categories. And then in the future, if I have more data on my categories category records, I can add it here. So for example, something that I'm thinking of right now, it's a column that I deleted earlier, which is the count. So if I want to populate, let's say I could populate the count of the number of products underneath the category as a meta element, in the meta element right there. So to do that, I need to create a new column on my categories database, which will be computed, and this will be a rollup. So a rollup does a calculation, and I can say summarize the values of the products relation column here. Name, it could be anything actually. And I want the count. Count unique. I think both in this case will be the same. Precision, I want it to be no decimal, so just one. Use group selector. I'm not sure what that means actually. And then I'll call this count. Save. So you can see that it automatically detects the count of related products. So for this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For these ones, we have 3. So you can see the count there. So now if I go back to layout, in the meta here, I can add a dynamic element, a dynamic column value, which will be count. There. So now you see that the count is being populated as a meta field on the card. So this is my categories page, right? Again, I could add more elements. So let's say I wanted to add a title above the list of categories. I can do that, right? And automatically here it populated, I think, one of the records of the categories table, and that doesn't look good. So I would change this to something static in this case. So as I said before, like it could be something like categories or welcome to our app or something. And then here the image could be the logo of the app. So let me just do a quick search. Logo for product, or like e-commerce store logo. I could get something like this. Maybe this. Copy image address, go here, and then just paste the URL right there. So automatically I have an image. And then I could maybe give it a title like my store, and then subtitle everything you can imagine. And then I don't like this categories title anymore, so I'm actually going to remove that. I think it's self-explanatory. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to do here, as you can see, there's a plus icon. The plus icon means that the user can add items to the list, or in other words, add categories. I don't want that, right? I want this to be, I want to be the one who defines what data gets displayed on the app, what categories exist. So I'm actually going to remove that feature. And to do that, I'm going to go to Actions, and then disable the option to allow the user to add items, and also disable the option to allow the user to edit items. I don't want that either. So now the plus icon disappeared, and the only thing I can do here is either click on one of these, or I can search. Okay, and then that's my homepage / categories page built. Now the next thing I want to do is build the category, the actual category page where the products will be displayed. So I click on one of the categories, and now here, as you can see, I have a new list for components. This is already, I'm going to just delete. I'm going to keep the breadcrumbs. So the breadcrumbs basically show where we are on the app. I'm not sure why it doesn't. Oh, okay. So in this case, we're just on the, this is what a breadcrumb is. So if I get rid of that, no, it's not. Never mind. I'm not sure actually. I think when you start, like, because you can have multiple nested pages, right? So from the category page here, you can maybe then click on a product page. So that will take you a level deeper. And then that's what breadcrumbs become useful, because it will show you like on which page you are relative to the homepage of the app. So I'm going to keep that there and see how the information changes as I keep building nested pages. But what I want to do here is display a list of products that are related to this category. And once again, I'm going to use a collection component, and it will be cards, because I want to display the image of the product, the title of the product, and then maybe the price of the product. Now, as soon as I click that, it automatically detected that the only column on my categories database here, which contains a list, right? Because these types of components, the collection components, are used to display a list of data. It automatically detected that the only source that I have on my categories database that has a list is the products relation column. And as you can see, it already populated all the data here. And this is exactly what I want to do. So it's already done. Now, the only things I will change here is how the data is displayed. So the title will be the name, so I'm not going to change that. Description field, I actually don't want the description to be there, so I'm going to remove that. Meta, I'm going to set as the price, so I'm going to select the price there. And I can also add like a $sign in front. Perfect. I see here, I want this to be 2 decimal points. So I'm going to go back to data, products. Here I want it to be 0, 0. And actually a quicker way to do this is by converting this into a number column and then setting the position to 2 decimal points. Save. There we go. Instant. Okay. So going back now, layout. My prices look good. Okay. What else? Image is set as the image of the product. Okay. I want it to be a card. Medium is fine. Fit. I want the image of the product to fit, but I want it to be a square so I can see more of the image. You know, these images are not perfect. So ideally, when you're building like a catalog, you would have nice images without a background, so they will all look the same. But this is just a sample, so they don't look that great. Again, you can have your limits here if you want to limit the number of items you display or have multiple pages. And then I also want to, once again, remove the option to allow the user to add new items. So I'm going to go to Actions, remove these 2. I'm going to leave the search bar. Now what I'll do is I'm going to get rid of breadcrumbs here, and I'm going to add a, let's try this one. Okay, so title at the top of the page, which will be called, this will be the name of the category. And then I'm going to remove this featured image. I don't want that. I'm just going to leave the name of the category just like that. Perfect. And then I'm ready to move on to the actual product page. So now when I click on the product page, this is where I define how I want the product information to be displayed. So I want to have, let me get rid of this stuff. I want to start off by having a simple title here with the name. Actually, let me think. So no, I don't want that. So I'll have, I'll add custom text elements. So I'm going to go, where is it? Here. So I'm going to have a headline, right, which will be set to the name of the product. And I can choose to align it in the middle if I want. I think that looks nice. Okay. Then I'm going to have an image. So I'm going to do content image. This will be the image of the product automatically got assigned there. I can make it bigger, you know, auto, whatever. Then I'm going to have, what else? I'm going to have the price. So I'm going to try, no, I'm going to have the description. So a text here, which I will assign to the description. Again, I can choose to center this if I want. I can change the style. And then finally, I also want the price. So price, where's the price? Price will be another text element. So, or I can set like a big number or something. No, I don't want that. I'll set it to be a text element, price, and then I'm going to make the style medium headline, like that. I'm going to add a $sign in front of it, and I'm going to move this up here. And then that's it, right? That's the information of the product displayed. Now, if you want the user to take an action, so if this is not just a product catalog, if it's more like an order, like an e-commerce store, let's say, if you want the user to be able to order things or take an action, then that's when you can add action blocks. So you can add a button, for example, that will, I don't know, take the user to a form or take the user to a website. That will be a different type of app, you know, so more like an e-commerce app or an ordering system. It goes out of the scope of this particular app that I'm building, which is more like a product catalog. But let me know in the comments below if that's something you're interested to see how to build. You know, if you want an app that can place orders or interact with your backend systems, let me know in the comments below exactly what you're looking for, and I will try to make a video about it. So yeah, that's the product page. Going back, we have the category page, and then going back, we have the home page with a list of categories. So that's it. That's pretty much it. That's the app built. I can't think of any other features to add right now, but again, let me know in the comments if there's things that you would like for me to add to this app, or any other customizations that you would like to see. But yeah, that concludes this tutorial. I hope you found this useful, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Thank you.